Hello, Lisa here. Welcome back to my channel and welcome to a very exciting video. I am so stoked to be bringing this to you guys. So this is actually going to be a review slash comparison of the second edition Naked Heart Tarot and the first edition. So I'm going to be talking to you about what I love about the second edition, and then we're going to look together through the third edition and look at the changes. The Naked Heart Tarot is by Jillian C. Wild, and Jillian is a BC local to me, so I've had the wonderful opportunity to meet with her a few times at various events, and I was so honored when she asked me to have a look at the third edition and share it with you guys. So I'm really stoked to get into this with you, because I absolutely love the second edition. There's some things I really adore, specifically about the guidebook, but really it's the cards and the artwork. They've got simplicity while being chock full of meaning, and the imagery has white space, but there's also lots of color, and this Naked, I'm stumbling over my words, I'm so excited, but the Naked Heart Tarot to me is what I think the Wild Unknown Tarot is to a lot of other people, and yet the decks are so different. In fact, after I fell in love with the Naked Heart Tarot, I ended up rehoming my Wild Unknown because I realized this was what I was wanting from that deck. So without further ado, we're going to get right into it. I have put my copy of the second edition in order. So let's look at some external things first. The third edition has a lower profile, as you can see. The second edition has a much bigger box. It's quite a bit deeper. Yeah, it's quite a bit deeper. This is quite a chunky little guide, due in part to the guidebook. But most other things in the external box are the same. You still have some artwork images on the back. It's slightly changed, but nothing major there. And then when we get into it, and we look at the lids, we see the naked heart holds the secrets of the soul, a quote by Jillian C. Wild. And then we get into the guidebooks. Now this is where I think we're going to see some of the biggest differences, because if you look, there's quite a difference in the guidebook size, and I am going to be speaking to that, but I want to go through the cards first, and then we'll dig into the differences here. So let's take a look at the artwork. So there's also in the bottom of the box, this is one of those nice boxes with the ribbon, you have the 4 elements with their suit symbols, which is really lovely, and a nice ribbon. I love it when we get these nice wide ribbons. I've had a deck come in before with some really skinny ribbons, and I don't know why, but that just totally makes me twitchy. So there's a really nice little card here in the bottom here from the artist, from Jillian. I'm going to move my incense so it doesn't get too distracting. Let's put it over here. Okay, so I'm going to set that aside, and then we'll pull this one out. So this one is still in its wrap. Ooh, interesting. Hold on. We got something else here in the bottom of the box. So the bottom of the box is the same, but there's this. I forgot that this was in here. I totally remembered seeing it when I first opened the box. I haven't gone through the cards, but I did open the box. So this is a full-size version of, I believe, the same crystal grid, or a similar crystal grid to what we get on the back of the card. So if you didn't know, the Naked Heart Tarot backs actually contain a usable crystal grid, which is really cool. Very nice. So this is a bigger version. I love this. You can lay this out on your space and lay out crystals. That is awesome. That's so cool that she included that, and that it fits so beautifully in the bottom of the box. So I'm going to stick that under the ribbon and set that aside. Alright, so we have our Fool. So anybody who knows me knows I am not displeased to see a unicorn as the Fool card. So we have our art card again. And I'm going to stick that underneath the... Actually, I'm going to stick that underneath the spread. I know you guys are so excited to see this part. Okay, and let's take a look and see if the cards are the same. Now I can tell you at first feel, the cardstock feels the same, and the size of the cards is the same. And this is a really nice cardstock. It's still flexible, but it's a really nice smooth matte. And I just love that. These cards are not edged. I think I may edge them at some point, but I'm not sure because the fronts are so beautifully white that I think I would not want to see any wrap. So we'll see. So far I haven't edged my second edition, so I don't know if I will edge my third edition. I might be tempted to do a metallic edging on this deck. So let's get started. We have the Fool, the Magician. Oh, this is cool. So in the second edition, we don't have these beautiful roses. I love that. I love the idea of the manifestation and the fullness that we see with the roses in the cup and on the wands. I love that change. High Priestess. We have some slightly different art in the Hamsa here, but for the most part, this is the same. Our beautiful Earth Mother. I love this Earth Mother. You can see on this card too, there's a slight difference in the colors, and I do feel like the 3rd edition is ever so slightly more vibrant than the 2nd edition. I don't know if the camera's picking that up. I can definitely see it here in our Sky Fathers and in our Earth Mothers. Just ever so slightly, it feels like more saturated in the 3rd edition. Look at that. Especially in this card, I really see it. I don't know if the camera's going to do that justice. But in person, this card, the colors here seem just a little bit paler. And here they're a little bit more vibrant. And I have to say, I love the star that's slightly different in the 3rd edition. So in the 2nd edition, it's this blue star shape. But in the 3rd edition, you have this bright white here in the Sky Father. And a little bit more white through the stars. I just adore this card. And I love the Sky Father and Earth Mother aspect. I love the Sage as the Hierophant. These cards look the same. Our Eagles as Lovers. And I love that she puts the elemental dignitaries for the cards throughout the deck. There's a lot of symbols. Even though the artwork is very clean and simple and straightforward, you also get a lot of symbology if you want to go looking for it, which I love that as well. Here we have the Chariot. This is my birth card. Again, I just feel like the colors are a little truer in the 3rd edition. This one, it actually looks slightly lighter, but you get, I feel like, more dimension or more contrast. I'm not an artist, guys. I'm just telling you what it looks like to me. But I love that you can see the Cancer symbol right in the card. I love that. I love with the Chariot how it's a single double-headed horse, and you get that idea of push-pull. Love that. The Strength card, again, more vibrancy in the yellows throughout here. I really think that the color is probably truer in this 3rd edition. I love how the lion's face almost seems to glow here. I love this Hermit card. It's probably one of my favorite Hermit cards of all time. I love this Happy Turtle. This is what being a hermit feels like to me. The Wheel of Fortune. Oops. Justice looks the same. The Hanged Man. I adore this Death card. There's a slight change here in where this symbol has moved to, but beyond that, everything is the same. Temperance. Lovely. You see Sagittarius there. Again, this is such a wonderful deck, and this would be a great study deck for somebody who's looking for a deck that clearly shows the astrological associations, the elemental associations. It's all here for you if you're looking for it. The Tower. The Star. I love how pure this star is. And again, see, you can see in these little stripies here. I'll bring it up a little closer. You see the color in the stripes? It's really visible on the 3rd edition, slightly more so than the 2nd edition. Oh, it's like she remastered almost. I don't know what the term is for artwork, but she definitely put a lot of care and love into this 3rd edition. And if this is a deck that you are on the fence about, let me tell you, as a deck that features nature, animals, and that sort of thing, this one is so beautifully done and well thought out. The sun as the scarab here is just stunning. Judgment. The Universe. Again, you can just slightly see a truer color on the 3rd edition. And this is the bonus card in the Naked Heart Tarot, which is the card that is called the Naked Heart. And then we're into the Wands. We have the Ace of Wands, the Two of Wands. I love this globe or this scrying sphere in the Two of Wands, because to me the Two of Wands is that time of possibility, of looking out at opportunities and options and getting perspective on what could be next. That sort of magical phase before things have solidified and you don't really for sure know where you're headed next, but you're going to find out, and it's really exciting. So I'm just going to move my incense back. That is what that's such a beautiful symbology for that card. The triangle here of Wands in the 3 with the glowing sun and the horizon gives you that feeling of seeing what's next, right? There's this opportunity, and now we're into planning. Things are starting to take shape. Our milestone in the 4 of Wands. Love the sunflowers here. Again, oh, here's one where you really see a difference. Now she's darkened the center of the artwork here, which really makes the flames, I think, pop and feel much more vibrant. I also feel like there's less harmony. It's a little bit more aggressive feeling, which I think is really good for the Five of Wands, where we have that competition and sometimes that conflict. So I think this one conveys with the color the message a little bit better. Beautifully done. The Six of Wands. I love the ferociousness in this 7. I've always loved this 7 of Wands. I like the change in the ears here. I don't know if you can tell in the ear shape. I think this is a bobcat. But you get a slightly more pointed ear shape here. Oh, my incense is still going crazy. I'm going to move it back again. Can't decide where I want it. I really feel like this fits better. This looks almost a little cuddly in the ears. And I have no idea, you guys, which one is more correct as far as, you know, feline anatomy goes, but this feels more right to me, so I like that change. The Eight of Wands, the Nine of Wands. This is such a fantastic image for the Nine of Wands. I can't remember where I first saw this in a walkthrough, but somebody was walking through these cards once and was really confused about the Nine of Wands with the monkey swinging through the trees, but to me it makes so much sense. It's kind of like that Nine of Wands is that final push. It's like you're trying to make your way through the craziness, you know? There's so much going on and you're just trying to get that final push, get through. And I just feel like the agility of this monkey or chimp moving through the trees, the sticks, gives you that feeling of needing to keep your awareness up, needing to really stay focused in order to make it through and to be agile. I love that. I love that symbology. And of course, I love the Ten of Wands with the camel carrying the sticks. The camel's more than able to carry this burden, which I think is an important point. Now this is a really big change, and I noticed this when I looked at the guidebook as well, and I love this change. So initially in the quartz, we had the child, the youth, the mother, and the father. And while I love that familial framing of the court cards, because I like when we look at family, at the same time, family can be such a tricky thing to navigate. And as somebody who comes from tricky family backgrounds, I really love that what she's changed it to is innocence, movement, heart, and spirit instead. So we have the innocence of each suit being the page energy versus the child. We have the movement of wands being the knight energy instead of the youth. And movement is so perfect for knights because how knights move is such a critical part of their meaning and what they're conveying to you with their message. The heart of wands for the queen energy is so beautiful because, again, our queens are sort of our water of whatever suits. So the Queen of Wands is the water of fire, and so she's got that watery emotional element to her. And then the Spirit of Wands as the king energy is also a really beautiful way to do it. So I really love that change, and that does run through the whole deck from what I could see in the guidebook. So there's our sweet foxes in the wands movement. And my dogs decided to build a nest. Again, you can really see, I think, the brighter colors here, the better color saturation, or brighter, the colors come through more pure in this third edition. The other thing that has changed, I just noticed, is in our elemental symbology. So here we just see the primary element, which is fire for the wands, whereas in the second edition you did get the youth, which is the knight, as the air of fire, the mother, which is the queen, as the water of fire here. And I did like that, actually, so I'm a little bit bummed to see that gone, but I think that it could have been really confusing to look at, and I suspect that's probably why she made that change, though I don't know that for sure. I do think this is cleaner to look at. So, like, for example, here, it could just look like it's meant to be an artistic reflection. Let me bring that up so you know what I'm looking at here. See the little triangle? So that's water of fire. So I think that could be a reason why this is cleaner for sure. And I think once you know those elemental associations, it's less necessary to see it on the card. God, I just really love the color shift here, and it's subtle, but it's really noticeable. It's subtle, and yet it's still an improvement. I love that. The Ace of Cups, the Two of Cups, the Three of Cups. I love, you guys, so much the panda in the Four of Cups. I totally just bumped my camera in my excitement. Like, how perfect is this? I just love it. The Five of Cups, and the blue in the heart definitely conveys that idea of sadness or of grief or loss. I love the Sweet Unicorn and the Six of Cups. Not that anybody's surprised. I freaking love the Seven of Cups with the giraffe with its head in the clouds, because what is the Seven of Cups except getting very lost in daydreams and fantasy and really being ungrounded, separated from the earth with how you're thinking, and that just conveys that so beautifully. Eight of Cups. This one makes me giggle because my sister Jen always says, watch your butt when she sees this card, but it's true with the Eight of Cups. As you're leaving, there's this added message here of be careful, not, you know, what are you going to knock over on your way out kind of thing, which is kind of an interesting interpretation for this card, and I really love it. One of my favorite Nine of Cups of all time. This is one of my deal breaker cards in most tarot decks. I can look past it being just like a guy with a bunch of wine, but I really like this image to convey a sense of peace and calm and contentment, and the colors in this card really do that for me, as well as all of the moon symbology. This is like my happy place card, and this does it for me. And the Ten of Cups is definitely that idea of fulfillment, emotional fulfillment and attainment. And I love the changes here with the coloring of the crystals. They definitely pop a lot more. They feel less washed out, much more vibrant. She's definitely changed the shape and colors and layout of these. All the colors are still represented, but the layout's definitely a bit different, and I really like the third edition. And here we have the Page of Cups energy, now called Innocence, in the third edition. You can again see, maybe, I don't know if camera picks it up, the blue is just truer on the third edition. The Movement, or Knight of Cups. We've got our beautiful whales through the quartz. The Heart of Cups. And I do think that these new assignments, these names, really convey the meaning of the card really, really well, which I just love. The Spirit of Cups with our whale. And our King of Cups energy. Ooh, we have some changes. Look at that. Okay, I liked this Ace of Swords, but I love the third edition Ace of Swords. Look at that, you guys. Oh my goodness. That is just beautiful. I love that. The Two of Swords. The Three of Swords. Again, just much better color saturation. Yeah, she did such a wonderful job. The Four of Swords. The Five of Swords. The Six of Swords. Oh, the rainbow through the turtle just comes through again, much brighter. I know I keep talking about the colors, but I'm such a color fanatic, and I respond so well to color when color's done really well that it's something that's very noticeable to me, and I really enjoy this. The Eight of Swords. I love this rose sort of bound and trapped with briars with the swords. The Nine of Swords definitely conveys fear, anxiety, and our Ten of Swords. The Page of Swords. Oh, yes. Yes, these black, I think these are panthers. The panthers are, again, so much more vibrant, and the color is so much more true. We're a little blue-gray here, and we're definitely a nice, sharp black here. The Movement of Swords. Yeah, I love this. That's the Knight again. The Heart, or Mother of Swords. This is the Queen of Swords. And the Spirit, or King of Swords. And now we are on to the Ace of Pentacles. The Two of Pentacles. I love the ants and the threes. This so speaks to work and also of collaboration, which is definitely one of my favorite keywords for the Three of Pentacles. Also adore this Four of Pentacles. How perfect is the squirrel storing nuts up for the winter in your Four of Pentacles? It's all about stability of resources and holding on to things. It's just beautifully done. The Five of Pentacles. And you get these broken luxury, the pearls and the diamond, and they're cracked and broken. And it's this idea of once having had and now having experienced some loss. The Six of Pentacles. I love the fish here. These remind me of betta fish. I'm sure that's what they're supposed to be, but I don't know for sure. And I love this idea of cycle, and there's a give and receive here. The energy and the way it's painted and portrayed is perfect. the Seven of Pentacles. We have that growth, the waiting for the fruit to ripen. The Eight of Pentacles. Look at this guy. Okay, so this is obviously a little bit different, but I have to say there's a little bit more cheekiness in this new one. I love that instead of the tail being underneath him, it's up behind him. I think it seems a little bit more natural. And I love that he's got his little pentacle and his little paws or hands are on that pentacle. That's just beautiful. And he's like, I'm making a thing. He just looks so happy. I love it. I've always loved the flamingo in the Nine of Pentacles because, again, that's sort of that moment to really enjoy what you have, to preen, to experience luxury. And I think this glamorous bird does a beautiful job of representing that. And elephants in the pentacles in general work for me, but the Ten of Pentacles being this elephant with all of these pentacles really speaks to legacy and age and wisdom, and I really enjoy that. Oh, we're getting near the bottom. And here we have our Page, or our Innocence of Pentacles. The Movement, or the Knight of Pentacles. And I love that this, these are like buffalo, yeah. I love that the buffalo, because buffalo can move when they really need to, but they're also like strong and sturdy and reliable. And there's, of course, a source of nourishment associated there with tribal culture and indigenous culture. We have the Heart of Pentacles, the Mother or the Queen, and the Spirit of Pentacles or the King. Oh, so good, you guys. I definitely prefer the third edition of the two editions, but both are beautiful. I don't know. Wow. I mean, after looking at them all, the changes that I love so much, especially through the colors, I probably would purchase the third edition if I only had the second edition. And if you don't have either edition or you don't have the first edition, I would definitely go for the third edition. I think the colors are spot on. I love the changes and the small updates that she's made. So from a cards and artwork perspective, beautifully done, and I really love the third edition changes. So no complaints. And sometimes when deck creators change decks, you know, there's things that we have little beef with, right? Let's take a look at the guidebook. I think I twisted my ribbon. There we go. There's my third edition and my second. So I will say right off the bat, and just so you know, Jillian had offered to replace, I believe, this for me at one point. But it wasn't that big of a concern. Because the second edition book was so meaty, when it opened, there was issues sometimes with paper coming out. So some of the pages in my second edition book are loose. I think that's an issue of just how meaty and chunky this guidebook is. But I will say that I actually told Jillian how much I loved the second edition guidebook. It's just chock full of information. There is a lot in here. So let's take a look at the contents. So in the second edition, you have an introduction. And actually, let's compare. Okay, so there's a little bit different here. So here we had an introduction, healing and tarot, cleansing the cards, opening guidance, what to ask the cards, shuffling and cutting, reversed cards, and tarot journal. And a lot of that beginning stuff has been trimmed in the in the third edition, it looks like, because we have cleansing the cards, opening guidance, what to ask the cards, shuffling and cutting, and then we get right in. So some of the extra stuff that you have in the second edition looks like it's trimmed out. I do think that the stuff that she's removed is not stuff that necessarily, like in this working with the deck section, that I would necessarily miss, because I tend to go right into the meat with the meanings once I've done my initial read through. So I don't think that's gonna be like a bummer to me at all. Then we go into, in the third edition, the majors, the minors, the court cards, the suits, the elements, so I'll be interested to look at that. And then some information on working with the Naked Heart Tarot, which we also have in the second edition. There's a whole section on the court card, attributes, levels of maturity. I do think that probably this second edition had a lot of extra information, which would be really helpful for somebody brand new to tarot, but also probably is a little more than needs to be in a book like this. I do think it would be cool if one day this larger, meatier pieces of information were maybe available to purchase from like digitally or something for people who wanted to read through that extra info. But one of the things that I really liked about the second edition is through the majors, you would have the art description. So you would have a description of why that art conveys the meaning. Then you would have your message. You would have some keywords, a reversal, and then some symbolic keys. So for example, for the Earth Mother, you have the tree branches and what they mean, the pregnant belly, the crown. So it's quite detailed, which is really cool for those of us that like to dig in real deep. Through the minors, you had slightly less. So you'd have the art description, the message, the additional keywords, and then the reversal. And then of course there was also, I believe, some spreads. So let's take a look. And the second edition. So it explains how to work with the crystal grid, which I believe that's also in the next edition guidebook. Maybe the spreads were in the back. I could have swore there. Yeah, here we go. Jillian is very generous with the spreads, I've noticed, and she makes beautiful ones. So there's a card a day, a past, present, future, a moon spread, which is really beautiful, a full moon spread, a Celtic cross, a naked heart, and then she's got her dedication and her acknowledgement. So let's take a look at the third edition guidebook. I will tell you that because it's a little bit thinner and it just feels way sturdier to flip through. Oops, making my candle flicker. So I think this size is just easier to manage in a book this of this like stature. You know what I mean? Let's take a look at how so we have the introduction. A little bit of an introduction to each of the suits and the elements, which I really like. Working with the Naked Heart Tarot. So some things are definitely different. So now we've got a Naked Heart message. So that is the general version of the card, meaning written in the form of an affirmation. Now I have taken a quick flip through of the guidebook, and I have to tell you right off the bat, I love it. I absolutely love it, and I'll point out the things I like. But so there's a Naked Heart message, which is more affirmative in style, and then there's a heart disconnect. So this is going to be like an alternative to a reversal meaning, and I love this because as somebody who doesn't work with reversals, I love the approach she took here. Then we have some crystal recommendations, astrology recommendations, familiar whispers. So because this is an animal-based deck, she's included a little extra animal medicine in every single card, which is so cool and beautiful. And when I looked at a couple sample entries, I was just blown away. So and then she does talk about how to work with the back of the deck and using the crystal grid again. So you still have that there. Some information on a few crystals. So let's look at an example here. So for the Fool, we have the title. So let's just take a look at the art here. So we have the Enchanted Wanderer. How am I going to do this? Let me just do this and I'll just look at it here. So the Naked Heart, so it's got a few keywords up at the very top. Freedom, new beginnings, and unlimited potential. And then you have a Naked Heart message. I invite lightness in to lead my way. As I leap forward into a world of uncertainty, I allow the curiosity within my heart to expand. Unlimited possibilities await me, and they open my perspective to be guided under the influence of a higher source of power. A magnificent energetic influence that leads my higher self to embrace life in all its adventure and glory. When I see the world through the eyes of truth with childlike spirit, I am certain that enchanted dreams await me. That is so, so beautiful. You have a crystal recommendation of clear quartz. The element is air, and you can see that in the artwork as well up at the top. And then the Unicorn Familiar Whispers. Leap. The universe will catch you. The magic starts with the first few steps. The universe will guide the rest. And here's our heart disconnect, or our reversed meaning. I ask myself, is it possible that my energy is feeling stuck and I'm not sure which way to turn, not trusting the unknown or path that lays ahead? Perhaps my choices have been based on impulsiveness instead of forethought. Now, the way that she's put this together is so unique and beautiful, I just can't even. And I have to tell you, I was nervous. When I saw that the guidebook was smaller, I was like, oh, I don't know, man. But the way that she has written these is just absolutely incredible. It really speaks right to you. I am so excited to work with this new edition. And it goes like that all the way through. You don't get the crystal recommendation in the minors, but you do get the Naked Heart message and the familiar whispers. So horse familiar whispers in the Six of Wands. And you do get the heart disconnect. You still get the keywords at the top. And then I was so excited to see, you guys, that in the back, when you get to the back, you have tarot spreads. And so we have, I think, some more here. Let's just take a look. Yes, we do. So there's the card a day spread. There is Naked Heart, Inner Child. There's our new moon spread, our full moon spread. And then this is the part that got me so, so excited. In the back, Jillian has added a heart, or sorry, she calls it, what does she call it? It's so cute what she calls it. Oh yeah, the art glossary, but it says Secrets into the Heart of the Naked Heart Tarot. And in this section, if you are curious why a card was depicted a certain way, you can look it up here and actually read the artist's description of every single card. So if that matters to you, and it does matter to me, it's something that I really look for in my deck guidebook. Sorry for the blurriness here, guys. I just noticed it. You can turn to that section in the guidebook and read what the artist's intention was. We have our dedication, our acknowledgement, and a little bit about Jillian. So I'm going to put this up really nice and close so you can see it. So you can learn more about the Naked Heart Tarot at JillianCWild.com. So that's JillianCWild with an E.com. And you can also follow her on Instagram at JillianCWild or at the Naked Heart Tarot. And I have to tell you, I think she knocked it out of the park with this one. I'm so excited. And as somebody that was such a huge fan of the second edition deck and guidebook, I'm over the moon with every single change. I'm so, so happy, and I'm so pleased to have this in my collection. I can't recommend this deck enough, particularly if you really enjoy color and you really enjoy working with nature or animal decks. This one is just really beautifully done. There's lots and lots of meaning, and everything is so skillfully chosen. I've had animal-based decks that just felt like they just featured animals and didn't convey the messages. And this really, really does. So congratulations, Jillian. You just did an amazing job. Thank you again so much for letting me review this on my channel. I just am super thrilled. I'm going to keep saying it, but I'm really excited. So I'm going to be probably retiring my second edition and moving into working with the new third edition. I believe the deck is available now. So check it out. If you already have this deck, if you have the second or first edition, I'd love to hear your thoughts on the changes in the third edition. If you already have the third edition, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Or if you just, just anything you have to say about this deck, I am all ears. I can't wait to hear from you guys. Thank you so much for watching this, and I will see you all again very, very soon. Bye, y'all.